Multisoft Virtual Academy, with over 21 years of experience, offers 1,500 plus courses, partners with 10K plus experts, serves 2,000 plus corporates, has trained 1 million plus individuals, and earning a 4.5-star rating. Here we share the overview, benefits, and facts.
Basically, you will have, let's say, source of data product. Okay. What is it? What will be source of data product?
Catalog.
Sorry?
It's a data source, or you're asking where we can get it?
No, I am asking what will be your source of data product?
It's source system S4.
Yes. So it can be SAP S4, right? HANA. Or it can be, let's say, your Salesforce, right? Or even it can be your BW on HANA system. Okay.
Yeah.
Greater than 7.5. Okay. Or BW for HANA. Okay. Now this becomes your source. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now on top of this, you will install the data products and all. Correct. I mean, once you have the source system, for example, you will install the data products. Data products where? Via Datasphere catalog or in this BDC cockpit. Okay. And content. Division. BDC cockpit, right? And install data products in Datasphere catalog. So this you will do. Now this becomes something called foundational services. Okay. This is your foundational services within this box. If you see something like this. Okay. Now once you install it, basically your data flows from here to here and to Datasphere. Now you consider this is my Datasphere. Okay. Now here, let's say talk about I don't know, a company code. Okay. There is a data product which is company code. Code. Okay. Then there is something called profit center. These are two different data products. Okay. So just imagine that once you activate this data product, right? So your source data will basically, via foundational services, it will come to your Datasphere. Okay. So this is your Datasphere. Now, this is called primary data products. Okay. Why primary data product is? It is, let's say, an individual business entity, so to say. Okay. Now, using this two, right? Using this two, you can further create any other data product. I don't know, maybe, or you can use it in GL account, for example. Okay. You got it. Let's say this is my transactional data. This is also data product. And then you can use this two in association with this. You join it here. Same ways. You can have it here. Like this. So you'll combine these two and prepare one thing. Now, where, a place where you're basically combining two primary data products, this will be called derived data products. Okay.
Okay.
And then this derived data product will be actually used in SAC, for example, your dashboarding. SAC dashboard, you can prepare whatever it is, right, through profit and loss statement or whatsoever it is. This will be called data product for consumption.
So indirectly, it's like derived products is nothing but attributes of one more this one, right? So,
I'm sorry. Yeah, derived attributes is basically where you're combining two data products which are primary. For example,
yes.
You got it, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Now it can be like there are over 1,000 data product what SAP have released so far. Okay, so if you say company code, it is one data product. If you say profit center, it is one data product, and so on. Make sense?
Yeah.
So this is basically the concept for primary data products and derived data products and data products for consumption. Now, next we will move to HANA Cloud architecture. Okay. So how it look like is basically now SAP HANA Cloud, combines or it is a combination of basically your HANA database, which is in memory, right, and the data lake components. So basically, how it works is you just consider that you have a HANA data lake, right? Data lake is nothing but storing in file formats. Okay, file containers. You'll have something called file containers, right? And then on top of this, you'll have a engine, which is data lake engine or data lake relational engine. Okay, what does this mean is you store all your data, right, in file format. Okay, and this data lake relational engine, right, it will help you to read or let's say access these files. Okay, so here it can be data that is CSV, right, or Apache OCR or Parquet files. Okay, and then this is let's say basically you can read it via SQL. Okay, and it can be structured, unstructured, or semi-structured data. Okay.
Okay.
So when I say basically data lake, right, when you just consider that you want to read all the data from EC2, It can be, I don't know, huge data, right?
Yeah.
Multiple GBs. So in that case, if you want to copy all the data from AC Docker, I'm just giving an example, right? Then you go for file container. Okay. Now this is cheap. Okay. As compared to HANA in-memory database, that will cost you like anything, right? So this is
Okay.
called your this too, right? This part is called SAP HANA Cloud Data Lake. This is your SAP HANA Cloud Data Lake, which basically stores the data in file format, and then you have a data lake relational engine, which will basically help you to read the data. It will do indexing and all those things, right?
Okay.
Now, on top of it, when it comes to BDC, right, it is, let's say, combination of these two. Now, on top of this, you'll have SAP HANA in memory. Okay, so this will be your native storage. When I say native storage, basically it is basically SAP HANA supports both row-based storage and column-based
Both
storage.
row-based and
Okay.
column-based, yes.
For writing purpose, it always use row-based storage. Okay. For reading purpose, it uses columnar storage. Okay.
Okay.
And there is a process called delta merge, which basically
Yes.
converts your row storage data to columnar storage. Okay. And how does it benefit? Any idea?
Which one?
This row based and columnar based storage, how does it how does it use this? So let me try
Okay.
to take a
For
minute.
example, assume that AC Docker we have almost 450 tables. If it is a row-based, system will create all to 457. Even the columns with, for example, if it is a 5 records, so system will allocate all 457 column space for 5 rows. But instead of that, if it is a column, it will create index linking pointers to the relevant data. So it's not going to store when you are reading that it will access based on that index. So it's not, if it is not going to occupy, it will not create any cell for that row.
Okay, your disk, right, where the data is stored, how does it look like? Memory, it can be something like this: 001, 1002, 003. These are address spaces, right? If you have read this array concept in C++. So in memory, right, or the disk, actual disk, how data is stored is in this sequence. Okay, and this address is something we access. Okay, now if I talk about row based storage, right, system will simply put it like this, in next row, like this. Okay, something like this.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yes.
While when I talk about columnar storage, system will first sort this. Okay, it will have, let's say, CP, and then it will just have C1, C2,
C3. Only 3 columns, only 3 rows. Yeah.
right. So reading in columnar storage is very fast, but writing operation is very costly. Why? Means, you just imagine if there are 4 new entries, right, 100 lines and 4 new entries, system have to read everything, sort it accordingly, store it, then reindex everything and so on. So what SAP HANA does is, when you're writing, right, writing this fashion is very easy. It's simple copy paste, like I did. So for writing, it will always use row based storage. For reading, it will use columnar storage. Reading, it will be faster always. Okay. Now there is a process called delta merge. Okay, what delta merge does is, it will move this data, right, to this columnar storage, which is a expensive operation. So every time you read from HANA, it is this table, main and delta. So there is a concept of main table and delta table. So this is that. So basically when you're reading, you'll read this, the columnar storage, and then row based storage, which will give you the complete picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, same ways, this is native storage. When it comes here, it is in memory or native extension, so to say, sorry. Okay. And then you have on top of it, you have, let's say, the HANA database in memory. Okay. So basically here we have this combination. Here you can have, faster retrieval of data, faster read basically, right? Then graph processing. Then you have AFL, BFL library. You know what is this AFL, BFL library?
Not sure because
Application function library and business function library that used to come with. Okay. So this is, let's say, the technical architecture of HANA Cloud. So basically you will have a data lake component and in-memory component. So whatever data you are writing, right, you will write it here. You will have this relational engine, and then you will access this data in HANA in memory, which will make the read faster. I don't know if you have ever worked on this Microsoft Azure Data Lake or so.
No.
Right. Okay. So that also work in a similar fashion. Okay. Where you'll
when I'm going to purchase, I need to buy data lake separately, or inbuilt it is along with the entire HANA package?
When you buy a BDC, right, everything will come. You have the option to do that. Let me try to. Search engine. A portal, right, where you select the component, how much memory you want, how each and everything. Okay, this is something it looks like. Okay, so you can have this hyperscaler. I think this was a, let's say, another day's topic, but let me cover it now. So you have something called hyperscaler, which can be Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, or GCP, Google Cloud platform. Okay, then you have data center. Which data center you want to store it. Okay. Now here you can add systems actually. You can have SAP Datasphere. You can have BWPC, SAC, right? Business Data Cloud Connect. This is basically, let's say, if you want to connect to Snowflakes, right? Then Business Data Cloud comes into picture. BDC Connect basically. Okay.
Okay.
Then you have Databricks. So for example, if I select Datasphere, okay, there are hell lots of components that you need to decide what you want, how much you want. Okay, to each and everything. Now today's topic is this object store.
Okay.
For this, okay. So now what is object store? Any idea?
Object store, as I'm not sure, but as as per my discussion with others in my project, they're saying it's like data will store in a files. So on that, it will be a separate engine where system will access that data using that engine. It will be faster access and it will be cost reduction. So something like that.
Okay. So now you understood why did I covered this HANA Cloud architecture.
Yeah.
So basically, what will happen is object store. Okay. Let me give you an example. Just imagine a scenario where you want to access almost a table or custom table, so to say, or it can be any table, SAP standard or custom table, where you want to store 10 GB of, or the table contains 10 GB of data. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you come, so now here, if you see every capacity unit, right, this CU, it means every capacity unit has a cost. Now this 1531, if you see, this is 1531 euro almost. I mean, once you compare it, right, comes around 1 euro per capacity unit per month. Okay. Now you just
Okay.
imagine this storage. If you see, if I just include one, right, how much will you not this one storage? Okay. So if I just click one, just storing 1.5 GB of data, and then what is capacity unit? One capacity unit. So it becomes very costly. Okay,
Okay.
you got my point. Every
Yeah.
GB you increase, it will cost you like anything.
Okay.
If it is in memory. Now, whereas if you see this object store, right, it comes in TB. If I add just one, okay, again for object store, there are certain component that needs to be enabled, that will cover later. Okay, so complete of this combination, right, for Datasphere, you have to see what you want to do, how you want to do. So there is memory, compute, and so on. Now, now, like coming back to my example, right, you imagine you have 10 GB of a table, and then you end up paying, I don't know, considering all the factors, you end up paying 100 euros per month. That will be too high, right, in memory.
Yeah.
So now what SAP did is they have introduced something called object store, or it can be referred as object based storage. Okay, this is basically a data storage architecture, and it is ideal for storing, archiving, backing up, and managing high volume of unstructured data or structured data. It is efficient and it is affordable. Okay, as soon as we move to this, right, like I told you, here you store in a file format, correct? So file format is always cheaper, and then this object store will have access to your HANA cloud compute and application services, everything. So basically imagine you have a data sphere. Okay, so there will be 3 layers basically. One where file will be stored, which is your data lake, so to say. There's something called Apache Spark. This will cover later. Okay, this color. Then you have the HDLF. HDLF is HANA Data Lake File System. Okay.
Okay.
This is HDLF. You just imagine. Then there will be files, right? What you write. Then there will be delta tables. On top of this, there will be delta tables. Okay, and this is called object store. Not this, but within your HDLF, right? It will look something like this. I don't know if I can send it to back. Send to back. Went fully back. So sorry. So you just imagine this object store, right? It is combination of your files and delta tables. Within HDLF, you can have multiple object stores. Okay.
Okay.
It will look something like this.
So object store is also a part of data lake, right?
Yes, it is part of data lake. So see,
But it's not same.
Sorry.
It's not same. It's a part of our data lake.
Yes, it is not same. So why it is not going in front? Okay, I don't know. Just okay. Look something like this. So in Datasphere, basically when you provision Datasphere, right, like we showed here, you also adopt for object store, how many TBs you want and so on. And then there is something called object store compute, okay, which basically you want to read and so on, right? Integration with your Datasphere. So it is part of your Datasphere, but there will be two parts, okay, while working with Datasphere. One will be your HDLF, where you have object store that is meant for storing large volume of data, okay. And then you have let's say in memory, which is used for computing, okay. Now this, there is something called delta share, okay, that will cover delta share also, we will cover later. So how do you let's say consume from this object storage using delta share, okay. Now you, on top of this, let's say file system, so to say, or HDLF, you'll have on top of this you'll have something called HANA compute engine, okay. HANA compute, this is basically again a cloud, right? HANA cloud, or because we are talking about cloud. So here you'll have SQL engines which will read this, okay. SQL engine. So hope you know, right? Reading a table is different than reading a file-based storage, right? So this HANA Cloud Compute, this will basically help you to read this HDLF or the object store files. Okay. Here we have something called delta share. We'll cover that later.
I think we're a bit confused here. So earlier screen we have a data lake, right?
No. Lake. This is, I'm talking about Datasphere. If you see on top, right?
Okay.
So you have something called Datasphere. Okay. Now, again, like I showed you here, you see this capacity estimator, right? So when you talk about Datasphere, there are multiple objects which are part of Datasphere. This is in-memory storage, okay? If you see, you can go through each and everything. This is storage. Then you need compute. Now you need memory or high memory, whatsoever. Okay. Then BW bridge, for now it is not relevant now with introduction of BDC. However, they have given it here. Then if you want data lake, right? TBs of storage, or let's say if you don't want data lake and you want object store directly, which will also have the same. I mean, it works on the same concept. Then you can have premium outbound and so on. Okay, so you can go and read all this, what all these objects are. So, like I told, object store is one of the component of Datasphere. Okay. Once you enable it, you just imagine that Datasphere, which is having, let's say, in-memory cloud compute or whatsoever, it will have one more connection to a file-based storage, which is SDLF. It will be part of Datasphere. Got it? No?
So can you go to middle the tab HANA Cloud Architecture? One second. So this is for a BDC, right?
No, don't consider it for BDC. I'm telling you how this is HANA Cloud Architecture. Okay.
Okay, HANA Cloud Architecture is not nothing to do with that. Okay.
So when I say SAP HANA Cloud, it basically combination of your HANA DB, right? This part and this part.
Okay.
Okay. Now same thing.
Yeah.
Just imagine that this is my this lower part. Okay. This one, data lake, and this is a Datasphere. When I talk about Datasphere, it follows this HANA Cloud Architecture, which can have HDLF or HANA data lake file, right? Or this is basically a storage, okay, HANA data lake file. Now, once you enable this, object store. Obviously, this things will be in different locations, but it comes under your Datasphere so that you can access it under one window, I would say, or one umbrella. You just imagine the Datasphere is one umbrella under which your this will also come, HANA Cloud Compute will also come, and then your other Datasphere application, right? You see builder, data builder, business builder, right? Those things will also come. Okay, depending on for what you are paying. Got it?
Yeah.
Now on top of this, we'll have your this business applications layer, I would say, or service layer, which is your data builder, right? You have catalogs, you have spaces. Got it?
Yeah.
So we have something called semantic onboarding and all that will cover later. And then you have something called replication flow also. You know what is replication flow, right, in Datasphere?
Yeah.
So there are two ways, okay? For example, we have something called semantic onboarding. Semantic onboarding is meant for importing certain line of business models that you have already created either in your BW for HANA system or S4 HANA system. Even this supports sometimes this SAP BW bridge. Okay. So semantic onboarding basically helps you. For example, you already have a info cube or ADS created, right? And you want to use as it is, so that relation, right? It is already meant. Then we use semantic onboarding, right?
Yeah.
Or you can have something called relational modeling. We'll come to that later, right? You can have analytical modeling, relational and analytical modeling. So these things, if you want to access here, you access something like this. Okay, this path. It will go something like this. From object store, you'll have this SQL engines, right? And then this application you can have. Also, you can have, or you can use this in relational, this object store, right? You can use it in replication flows. So you know, right, what is the difference between a replication flow, a transformation flow, and a data flow? Okay.
Okay, this is completely we are discussing about object store. For example, I'm not storing in object store, I'm storing in a normal table in a disk or in memory
Then you come
in
here.
a data sphere.
I understood your question. So now
Yeah,
then we are talking about this one, right?
yeah.
That we have not came. So object store has nothing to do with in memory. Instead of
Mm,
compute. So we are
mm.
specifically talking about object store. Okay, let me explain.
Okay, now I got a clear picture. Object store, this
So
tab is only belongs to object store. That tab belongs to in-memory store, right? So we're in
yes,
a data sphere.
let me explain that to just to be very much clear. Okay, just imagine something like this. This is my BDC. Okay,
Hmm.
now you have source systems. Okay,
Yeah.
now like I told, this is source system that will be outside of your BDC. Now here you
Hmm.
have something called foundational services.
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
now this foundational service, they are basically two foundational service. You don't get confused. Okay, this is BDC foundational services, which will have two things. One is Spark and one is object store.
Hmm.
Okay, now like we discussed, right, then we have BDC cockpit where you do all kind of administrative tasks, right?
Hmm.
Then you have BWPC. What is BWPC?
Private cloud, something. What is there?
So here you'll only use some or tool called data product generator. Okay,
Hmm.
so this DP generator, once you generate it, it will go to object store. Okay, now there is something called Datasphere. Okay, now this Datasphere will have catalog, right? Uh,
Hmm.
a HANA database. It will have Spark. It will have object store also. It will look something like this. It will have object store, right? Like I showed you, right, in that estimator. You'll have data sphere, object store separately, and then you'll have
Hmm.
word catalog, all other those things. Okay. Now you have one more component, which is Databricks, SAP Databricks. Okay. Now here also
Okay.
you'll have something called object store. You'll have Spark here also. Then you have something called catalog in Databricks also. We'll show you what is the catalog once we reach there. Okay. On top of this, you have SSE where you do all your reporting, dashboarding, and planning stuff. Right.
Yes.
And then in this SSE, you'll have inside apps and all. So when I say object store, you just you have to understand that this is a part within BDC or within Datasphere, which is let's say linked to a HANA data lake, which is file-based system, right? Whenever
Hmm.
there is a requirement of large volume of data storage, I'll use this object store. Got it?
Okay.
Hmm. Now this object store, right? This or this when I'm talking, this is something like this: delta file, delta table
Hmm.
file, and delta share. And this is part
Okay.
of the HANA data lake. Got it?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
No. So you just imagine that this object store is something, this one you can refer to as this. When I say object store, this refers to this architecture. That, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I will share some documentation of the object store. Okay, and just go through it.
So what is that? Okay, this is object store.
Yes.
But when I created a table in a Datasphere, storage option is a disk where that will store.
That is again, okay, coming back again. I talk, where did you go? You see, right? I explained you have object store here.
Yeah.
So here it will store.